All right, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers supporting cast, because so much about the Panthers is Bryce Young, right? Obviously, very famously, they traded this year's first round pick along with last year's first round pick and DJ Moore to get the number 1 overall pick to draft Bryce Young. Bryce Young doesn't look great his rookie year. CJ Stroud looks awesome his rookie year. Everyone's saying, "Oh, what dumb, decision they made," even though plenty of people thought Bryce Young should have been drafted first overall. But hey, we talk hindsight typically here. Of course, it doesn't help that the Panthers would go on to be the worst team in football the following year, and there happens to be a generational prospect in Caleb Williams, or at least someone people call a generational prospect in Caleb Williams. So because of that, it's looking a little bit tough for multiple reasons. And for the Panthers, they made a clear effort to say, you know what? Yes, Bryce Young didn't look great last year, but really no quarterback would look great in that situation, so maybe we just need to fix the situation, and that's something we have to do, and they've certainly made a lot of effort in trying to fix the situation. First, if you look at their projected offensive line with the tackles at the top and the interior guys at the bottom, you're going to notice that it looks pretty good. Like, there's really no hole in this starting five, assuming these 5 players stay healthy. You see that the number 2 to right, that is their Pro Football where they ranked PFF-wise among their position. Austin Corbett, there's an asterisk because that was actually 2 years ago. Didn't play enough last year to qualify, but I mean, yeah. As a whole, again, if you like PFF grades, this isn't too concerning at all. In fact, this is makes you feel pretty good. The receiving core is not as bad as last year, but still leaves some things to be desired. I think looking at it, there's some question marks. I think that's the best way to phrase it. You got Xavier Legette, the player they just drafted in the I believe it was the first round if I remember correctly. It was pick 32. Might have been a second. Yeah, I believe it was pick 32. You then added Deontay Johnson, who they traded for. You got Adam Thielen, who was actually pretty good for them last year. Jonathan Mingo, maybe there's some hope that he can, kind of rejuvenize his career, getting another year older. Terrence Marshall, maybe you're still holding out hope for him as well. You also have Jatavian Sanders, who they drafted, who I liked coming out of college, and we'll talk about him when we get into the film. But yeah, I kind of wanted to really talk receiving core, as the offensive line should be pretty good, and what these different players in the receiving core can bring to the table, and what I think that all means. So yeah, that's what we're going to do in this video. Before I get too far into it, though, I should mention I have a movie channel. If you like movies, the channel name is Jackson Kruger Movies. The link is in the description if you want to check that out. I do some movie reviews, some general topic stuff. I have some fun with it. So if that seems like it's your kind of thing, again, Jackson Kruger Movies, link is in the description. But yeah, let's just get into the Panthers supporting cast film. So let's start off with an Xavier Legette play, as I do think he is just the biggest wild card here, being that, a lot I like about him, but he's also never played in the NFL before, so who knows how good he'll be, but a great indicator is, well, how good was he in college? Well, you see on this play, it's going to be a one-on-one matchup, which that alone is a big deal for the Panthers. Can they have someone who can just win one-on-ones, or can they have really a number of people who can win one-on-ones? Well, you see on this one, that one, the quarterback throws it to Legette. He is open. There's a window right here. So, okay, good job. First step, done well. And then you're going to see him, while making the catch, run by everybody and is able to get past all the defenders. Okay, that's something that is worth noting as well, is if he can do this kind of stuff. I mean, the Panthers really didn't have a lot of guys who could do this last year. So having someone who can not just get open, but, potentially make house calls on specific plays, because that is what he's going to do here. He turns that play, which really was just designed to move the sticks on a 3rd and 4 into a touchdown. If he can do that for Carolina, that's really going to just make things easier, make things a lot easier on Bryce Young, who can, hopefully now just have a guy that, again, he can, he can make him look better, right? And heading over here, Deontay Johnson is another guy who can do some of that stuff, where it's going to be a one-on-one matchup. He is a guy that was able to win one-on-one matchups pretty consistently for Pittsburgh. Watch how when this play begins. You see it right here. Again, good job. Nothing too fancy, but is able to cut well enough to hopefully gain some yards, get, a 5-yard completion or whatever. This is the kind of thing you trust Bryce Young to, get the ball in Johnson's hand on these types of plays. But then watch him make the catch and make a guy miss, and doesn't just get 5 yards, but gains 25, gets all the way to the 50-yard line on that play. Really good stuff there by Deontay Johnson to, pull that kind of thing off. So again, if he can do something like this, that's really just going to help out Bryce Young and just help out the Panthers offense as a whole. Of course, for the Panthers, I don't want to make it seem like they had nobody last year. While I'm not going to make it seem like they had a lot, they did have Adam Thielen, who made some nice plays. Something like this were pretty simple play, really, but still an important one. You have him running a route just trying to get to the end zone here on a 1st and goal. When this play begins, Bryce Young takes a snap and is immediately getting the ball in Thielen's direction, which is something that I think that the Panthers want, is to do this more, get the ball out of Young's hands quicker, which doesn't necessarily, I'm not saying that as like a fault in Young, I'm more so saying that as like a fault in the receiving core. Give him guys who he can trust to just say, oh, okay, let me get the ball in that area. Because here it works. Thielen makes the grab and he, reaches out, gets the touchdown. You want to teach Young good lessons, right? And if he can learn, okay, if I get rid of the ball quickly, it will result in touchdowns. It will result in good plays. Well, then he'll keep doing it. But of course, for it to be a good lesson, it has to actually result in good plays, which this one certainly did. This one's another example where what's going to happen is it's a, cover 3 zone on this play. You see where Thielen is here. So, you see the route concept as well. He's going to be running kind of deeper towards the back of the end zone. Young takes the snap. And this is another thing I really liked when I'm watching them is you see Young a little bit under pressure, kind of throws it a bit awkwardly too, which I think it didn't fully have to throw it that awkwardly. But again, playing in, his 6th NFL game at this point, he did get better at that stuff as the season went along. But you see, it's not a huge window. With Thielen, you got to get over that defensive player, but it felt like he had good chemistry with Thielen. Watch him kind of trust Thielen to make that relatively difficult grab, and to be honest, Young could have even pushed that a little bit higher, which, I would like to see maybe a little bit more of from Young, but this is still a really good play to get the ball there quickly. Having that timing down is really valuable, so you have Thielen who you can trust, and then you're just hoping that guys like Johnson and Legette can also be guys that he can trust, but those guys might be able to get more after the catch. And finally, I want to talk about Ja'Tavion Sanders, the tight end that they drafted, who I think could also be another guy who can kind of do some of the stuff that we're talking about. The play you see on the screen, just a, hey, get open over the middle type play. Okay, well, simple enough. Well, let's see what happens. Texas quarterback takes the snap. He quickly gets it over to Sanders in that direction. You see there is a defender who is, trying to see if he can come over and make a tackle. And that does not happen. He's not able to bring Sanders down. Sanders gets into the end zone for a touchdown. Again, how much would that work in the NFL? We just don't know. But even if he can just do the first part, be another option, let Bryce Young be a facilitator, which is what he was so good at in college, instead of kind of forcing him to have to do it all, which is what he had to do last year for the Panthers. So yeah, do I think this is a great supporting cast? No, I don't. I think that there are still some potential issues that I would have with this supporting cast, but could it be better? Sure. And at least there's, on paper, are more options that Bryce Young can hit, which is a benefit. So we'll see how well it goes. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on all of this. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.